what's going on here? It feels so much different. Yeah, the fruit bowls.
Name of inclusion and diversity.
Yeah.
Because these people don't care about your hobby. They don't care about integrating into a community of like-minded individuals. All they care about is that the community bends and reshapes itself to suit them, until eventually they bend it so much that it breaks. People like that.
And that is kind of like, I don't know, as I said, I think that's what's happened with WoW. Like, it has. Like, they've tried to attract that audience of people, and I think they've succeeded. I do. I think that they've actually succeeded in doing that. And I feel like whenever I talk about it, I feel like a crazy person, because it's like just saying it sounds schizo, but I might be crazy, but I also don't think that I'm wrong.
That are complete and utter poison for any hobby, any fandom, any franchise. All they ever manage to do is stir up conflict, resentment, and division, driving people away and turning fans against the very company that tries to pander to them. Because their very reason for existing is to undermine and destroy the thing they claim that they're trying to save. And if you've got any common sense whatsoever, or any love for the fandom that you're so passionate about, you'll think very carefully before bending the knee to them. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
This thing's falling.
You get there before anyone else does.
Job's done.
What a good video. Okay, I'll link you guys a video. I mean, I agree with some of this. I don't necessarily think like every inclusion is like bad, but I do think that whenever it's being done for a reason that doesn't really enhance the lore, and it's being done in a way that at least like some readers think is condescending, I do find that to be problematic. Absolutely. Slippery slope. I mean, it's very hard to say, like, is it a slippery slope or not? I mean, slippery slope is inherently a fallacy, but it's not really a fallacy as much as it is it's something bad that can happen. And I think that after seeing it happen to WoW, it's definitely made me like much more hesitant whenever I see something like this happen. And the reason why is that it makes me feel like at that point, the people that are making the content, like they care. Every time that I see something in the game, I always look at it through the lens of, was this an artistic choice or was this a social choice? And that's the way that I see it. And maybe that's like bad, but like it does take away like my escapism of it. I don't believe that BlackRock pushes this, but the CEO himself spoke about controlling public opinion. Oh, I think that BlackRock pushes it, absolutely. I never said that BlackRock didn't push it. All I was saying is that BlackRock wasn't the cause of it. I think that a lot of people are doing it on their own too. Like they don't have anything to do with BlackRock. They're just... This is something that's happening culturally. Like, I mean, yes, obviously BlackRock pushes it, sure, but that's not the only people that are doing it. The only problem with the situation is they could have used Sisters of Battle. Why change something to fit some narrative whenever there's already something that fits perfectly? I think the reason why is that, like in a lot of media and popular media, there's like a focus on trying to make it seem like men and women are equal physically, which is something that everybody knows isn't true. But for some reason, people keep trying to push this ideology, and I think this is another manifestation of that ideology. It's fantasy? Yeah, no, it is fantasy. I think that really, like, whenever you talk about something being fantasy, I don't really think that justifies doing something in a way that, like, contradicts directly with, like, the real world. I think you can do that. Of course you can do that. But I think that the best types of fantasy are the ones that reflect real life in kind of like essential ways, and then add fantastical elements to real life. You know, socially equal doesn't mean physically equal. Yeah, exactly. Moving to a media space with serious and series of movies isn't bare minimum just to get this shit through the gate. Yeah, maybe it is. I mean, this is one thing that I've learned, right? And I learned this from WoW, is that you can't like you can't convince people that this is like a good thing or a bad thing. People will believe this no matter what. You're like, I can't like, and he can't get people to like Warhammer fans to care about this, because I guarantee you a lot of Warhammer fans don't care about any of this shit. They don't give a fuck about it. And it's the same thing that happened with WoW. Is like, I was like, hey, this is happening, it's bad. Everybody laughed at me, said I was stupid, and then here we are 10 years later, and it happened. So one thing like I've learned, and this is kind of like very pessimistic, but I've learned that I will always bring it up, but I don't really try to push this as much anymore, because I've learned that people will never, there's like a subset of people that will never turn against something that they've spent a lot of money on. And I think that people get so invested into a franchise, whether it's like Warhammer, Warcraft, Magic the Gathering, Star Wars, any of these, they will never turn on it because they've spent so much emotional and physical resources and energy on it that they will never actually think to themselves, this was a bad decision. Because if they realize that it was a bad decision, then they are conceding that they were fooled or that they are stupid.
People who pass by more fast food restaurants have a higher likelihood of being obese. And if this is
I wonder why that happens. What a mystery that must be.
true, I blame the drive-thru, because the drive-thru exploits quirks of human psychology.
Customers are flocking to drive-thrus like never before.
Obesity rates are on the rise.
New research shows drive-thru service has become the meat of the business.
Sometimes you really don't want to leave your house. To be able to leave your house and not get out the car helps.
An alarming trend.
Now, it's not the drive-thru's fault that we all find convenience, the path of least resistance, and instant gratification.
Do they have drive-thrus in other places in the world where everybody isn't fat? Yeah. So like maybe it's not the drive-thru, you know, because like everybody else has a drive-thru, and it's just happening to us. So it's like, is it really the drive-thru then?
Gratification so attractive. But modern drive-thrus so much more. Modern drive-thrus use behavioral science and something called dark nudging to manipulate you into eating more fast food. And when you pair hyper-palatable, salty, sugary, fatty fast food with the insanely convenient drive-thru that's been literally optimized to make you make bad decisions, it's truly no wonder that some people just can't resist. Like these companies.
That's true. Certain psychological tricks maybe should be like, you know, demonized more and like maybe even illegal. But like, I bet they try this stuff in other countries too. Like, I bet they have pretty much the same menus. So like, how is this a problem with like the fast food if it's only really represented in one country? What are you getting at? What I'm getting at is I think that Americans have a self-control problem and they can't stop eating fast food and being fat and disgusting, and they're trying to blame it on the company because they don't want to take accountability for it. Make sense?
Companies are studying the way our brains make decisions. How you choose between saying yes.
Every, like, a lot of different places are starting to do this. Like, video games do this with psychology as well.
To fast food or saying no to fast food, and then using this data to modify our behavior in a way that benefits them. And if you haven't noticed, this is happening from every angle these days. Whether it's TikTok or Twitter or food corporations or your governments. Everybody is investing big bucks into getting you to behave the way they want you to behave.
Naturally.
And with drive-thrus, the manipulation begins before you even hit the parking lots. But before we get into it, a message from today's sponsor.
Okay, it's just a quick message from me. I'm thinking of starting a kind of newsletter. I do so much research and writing on so many different topics, but a lot of it never makes it here to YouTube, so I thought a newsletter could be fun. Nothing formal, just messages from me in your inbox that you might enjoy. I don't really have a specific plan right now. It honestly could be months before I send anything, but I just wanted to see if any of you guys would be into it. So if you're
interested, it's a good idea. You should do that through Patreon. Patreon creates an avenue for that already with like creating like user-funded content. Like that's a good idea.
Interested in getting emails from me directly, click the link below and join the list. Thanks for your support, and now back to the video.
Yeah.
Many people don't realize the extent to which the drive-thru is fast food. Fast food restaurants didn't take off until American families started driving everything. And then fast food became this like natural extension of the sort of on-the-go lifestyle. As people spread out from the cities to the suburbs, everyone coming to a restaurant would be coming in a car. And so if you're a restaurant, you needed some way to deal with it.
Yeah, filter out all the cars.
Drive-in, you know in old movies, those diners with waitresses on the streets taking your order from the parking lot? The drive-in was a whole event, a social meeting place, a date night, or fun family outing. But then came the drive-thru, which was kind of the opposite. No parking, no waiting, no hanging out, get your food, and then get back to whatever you were in the middle of doing. Fast forward to today.
Texting and driving.
The drive-thru is so heavily tied to the fast food experience that 47% of Americans would refuse to use a fast food restaurant if it didn't have a drive-thru, according to...
That's sad. That's really something. What's the obesity? How many people are fat? 39. That's pretty close to 47. You want to go into McDonald's to eat? You don't have to go into McDonald's to eat. You can go into the store and then place a to-go order and then walk out of the store. I did that like 3 days ago. Walking? Yeah, true.
Your poll from earlier this year. Think about that. That means that if the insanely convenient drive-thru lane wasn't an option, many, if not most, fast food sales would never even happen. And immediately you can see the power of convenience. I've talked
to be fair, if I think none of them had drive-thrus, it's not like these people will be like, oh, I can't use a drive-thru. I guess I gotta go home and eat a salad. They're good. They're just gonna park and go in. All right. All right, what do you got? Yeah, they're gonna walk in. They say they wouldn't go into one, but I bet a lot of them would.
I talk about this a lot in some of my other behavioral science videos, but our brains are extremely biased toward convenience in the path of easy resistance. Like back in the 1950s when drive-thrus were originally invented, they were an instant hit. People immediately bought
no
them.
shit.
So much so that drive-thrus became this like cultural phenomenon at the time. Like look at
yeah, like my mom said back in the day, she used to with her friends. Like this is like back in like I guess the 60s or some shit. They would get together and they would pool together like $1 and they would go to Taco Bell or something. Maybe it was the 70s.
They tried to turn into a drive-thru.
Yeah, 3000
the
BC.
Liquor store, the drive-thru laundromat, dairy store. These drive-thru dairy stores are so convenient. Even I enjoy shopping there. The drive-thru real estate firm.
Yep.
Okay, this last one deserves a really close look. 1958 Ford drive-thru sale. Look at this. Look at the path. Like this looks like an absolute nightmare. Drive-thru.
It does.
Anyway, point being, we love the simple convenience.
That looks like one of those things that you do in The Sims in order to kill the people in the city.
Not having to get on over cars to do stuff. McDonald's website says that they waited until 1975 to open their drive-thru, but they claim that when they finally did it, it boosted sales at that location by a full 40%. And today, McDonald's says that their drive-thrus account for a whopping 70% or more of their total U.S. revenue.
And I gotta tell you, McDonald's drive-thrus are next fucking level. They have the best drive-thrus. Because like they have that double drive-thru shit where it's like you can go to one or the other, and then like they're like, oh, do you want to order with the app? And then like you can do that. Like it's actually so good.
Ask yourself, well, why is
Chick-fil-A?
it?
Yeah, Chick-fil-A does that too.
The answer is the power of convenience.
Yeah.
I've talked about this before on my video about how convenience ruins breakfast. But essentially, it's not just that we're lazy, it's that our brains are wired to value convenient options. Behavioral science tells
But a big part of it is being lazy though. So like that's like a big part is also being lazy. And I think also like, yeah, this makes sense. It does. But whenever your brain is wired a certain way to do something, there's a lot of things that people's brains are wired to do that they don't do. Still gotta exercise self-control.
Is that if you want to make a behavior happen more often, make it easier. The more convenient it is for a behavior to occur, the more likely it is that the behavior will occur. And the original fast food drive-thrus of the 1950s kind of just accidentally stumbled upon this behavioral movement. They didn't realize at the time that their insane success was largely due to the fact that drive-thrus were immune to our brain's biases. But today's drive-thrus are no accident. They are actively and intelligently exploiting these biases. Let's imagine the typical drive-thru situation.
I feel like everything in every form of marketing exploits biases and consumer behavior. I do. I think that the foundation of marketing and sales is exploitation of human psychology in a way to make a person do something if they were not. Because if you were already in my something, well, you wouldn't need to really market it or sell it.
Walking along on your way home from work, you're hungry, you're tired, you're feeling a little stressed from the rush hour drive, and you're anxious to finally get home and wind down from a long day. Unbeknownst to you, at that exact moment, you are the perfect, unsuspecting victim for the drive-thru. Why? Because all of these characteristics are risk factors for impulsive behavior.
You know what the biggest risk factor for impulsive behavior is? A lack of self-control.
Job done, right.
That's the biggest one. A lack of self-control. Somebody can't control themselves. Somebody doesn't know how to act.
Job done.
That's called being a bitch. And cocaine? Yeah, there's that too.
The brain makes decisions in basically two different ways. Either rationally and thoughtfully, or impulsively and mindlessly. Something called System 1 and System 2 thinking. So
I think that for me personally, I plan out going like, so today, I will plan out, I am going to go to McDonald's after I go to my appointment, and I will sometimes plan out fast food restaurants I'm going to go to before I even get out of bed. And sometimes I might even plan them a day in advance, so I have it to look forward to. It's been a while since there's been like a nasty story about me. I'll give you a new one. I used to throw up in my own mouth in the morning with like acid reflux, and the fast food that I couldn't taste was the place that I would go to that day.
if you buy something on impulse, it means that you did so without any prior plans or intentions to do so. And, importantly, without rationally considering it. All of a sudden, you're overcome with this desire or impulse to take action, to seize that instant gratification. And before you know it, this is behaving impulsively. And if you're thinking, that's totally me, I really gotta stop doing that, you are not the only one.
Why don't you just stop doing it?
Job done. Job done.
It's not like Ronald McDonald puts his fucking clown hand on your car and he goes, okay, you're gonna come right over here. All right, give me your money. If they could, they would.
Apparently, 58% of trips to limited service restaurants or paid drive-thrus are already impulsive to begin with. I took this stat from a website called QSR Magazine.
They're tactical decisions.
For fast food franchisees and drive-thru operators.
Quick serve restaurant.
And it's full of tips on how to turn a drive-thru into a machine in quick time. Anyway, why is this important? Well, because when a behavior is impulsive, because it's not a conscious...
Well, I guess you just have to go to every single McDonald's. I guess from now on, anytime I see a McDonald's, I'm gonna have to go there. And if I see a Taco Bell after I see the McDonald's, I'm gonna have to go there too. Because I can't, it's hard to control. I can't do it. I have to eat the food.
Rational choice, it's instead an automatic mindless reaction to the environment. And you behaving automatically and mindlessly is the main goal of a dark nudge. If you've never heard the term dark nudge before, I should probably explain like a regular nudge first. The definition of a nudge is an indirect means of influencing behavior toward a desired action. More specifically, it's about
So every single type of marketing. Yeah. And signage.
that subtly
like everything,
a specific path or guides you to a specific choice. Dark nudge, on the other hand, is more aggressive. It exploits your cognitive biases in order to change your behavior against your best interests.
Let me give you all an example. This. That's a dark nudge right there. Where it goes 69, 109, this much, and then 17. That's an example. We just got dark nudge. There's a lot of them. They're everywhere.
Exactly what's happening when corporations are trying to get you hooked on their products by any means necessary. Many drive-thru restaurants have been completely redesigned with the goal of activating your more impulsive side in the day. I lived in QSR because drive-thru is first divided into zones. Each zone is optimized to influence your decision. The entry zone is all about making it as easy as possible for your car to make it from the street to the drive-thru. And fast food companies do this by literally mapping out your parking lot experience and then placing signage and arrows at any potential food.
I mean, we could talk and make jokes about how it's like, you know, like, it's like a slaughterhouse for cows, which McDonald's kind of is in a way, right? But the truth is that wouldn't any logical person do that in any situation in which you wanted to direct a person to go to your business? It's yellow paint. It is. It's yellow paint. Yeah. Bring back hardcore drive-thrus with no hints, no tips. You just have to talk to all the different trash cans in the parking lot until you find the one that has a radio on it.
It might seem small, but the point is to remove any possible friction from your journey to their cabinet.
Which is the exact thing that you should do whenever you're doing any business and selling any product whatsoever. This is what you do. That's how it works.
Because friction is another behavioral science principle. And this principle says that any friction at all will cause...
I'll give you an example of her doing it. So whenever you start your video out with an advertisement, the friction of getting the people to watch your video is lower. So what a lot of content creators like her do is they add an ad into the first few minutes of the video, so that way the person is already invested and they continue watching even though they have the ad, because at the beginning they're not invested, so it's easier for them to bounce off of the video. So removing friction is something that's done in every facet of life, and it's also done in every avenue of business.
Less of a behavior to occur on average. As you get closer to the drive-thru window, you enter the pre-order zone. These days, a lot of fast food companies are switching to dual-wheel drive-thru.
Dual-wheel drive-thrus, these are so fucking good. Like Chick-fil-A does this, McDonald's does this. They're like the two main places that do it.
The one lane is full. But a lot of people online have noticed that this
Y'all ever go to Panda Express and spend 45 minutes in there and you get up to the fucking menu and they say they don't have fried rice? McDonald's doesn't have that. Panda Express. They don't sell pandas and they're not fast. It's a fucking lie.
because ultimately there's usually only one person who can afford it. This guy even uploaded a photo shot to show that the
It's gonna be a robot.
thing doesn't make any sense. Now maybe the main purpose of the dual lane drive-thru is just to make sure that the line doesn't end up creeping out onto the road, or maybe
the problem is, like, so there's this psychology, like, how many of you guys, like, if you see this, you're like, I guess we're gonna go to Taco Bell today. Because, like, whenever I see this, I'm like, oh. And that's it. It's friction. It is. It's friction.
it's another psychology that's meant to make the line appear shorter than it really is. One Psychology Today article even called it...
And I also want to say that it actually is faster. Like, the McDonald's drive-thru experience now is tremendously improved ever since utilizing this new technology. Like, I have been to McDonald's over 1,000 times. At least 1,000. So, yeah, okay, so something like that. Like, I'll tell you, like, I have been at a McDonald's drive-thru. Like, I went to, oh, fuck, where was it? I went to Taco Bell. There was one person in front of me, and it took longer than it would take for me to go to a McDonald's drive-thru twice.
Fast food drive-thru lanes are a trap. Unless the line is already long and backed up around the curve, you can't see how many cars are ahead of you. Then, once you place your order, you're blocked.
You can if you're an expert. So if you can tell what it is, you want to check also, because like if I'm driving towards the building, I can see how many are on the line there, right? And then you can come around and see how many are on the line on the other side. Like I'm telling you, like maybe she only goes to fast food restaurants like once a week, but like for a professional here, no, you can easily figure it out.
from exiting by the vehicles in front of you, and soon by those behind you.
Yeah.
A long lineup of cars would instantly reduce the seductive quality.
Exactly. True.
This long lineup is a moment of friction.
It is.
Slows you down a little bit and may make
That's
you
right.
reconsider, think more about your decision to get fast food, which means people would be switching from.
For me, it never does that. It makes me think about my decision. Do I want to go to this McDonald's or the other McDonald's? Or like, oh, there's a Taco Bell here. I can just go to Taco Bell. Like, there's Burger King. I might as well just go to Burger King.
Impulse mode.
I feel like, I mean, what kind of a loser? Dude, what kind of a loser? Oh, wow. The drive-through line is long. I guess I might as well just go home. No? You go to another drive-through.
Rational thinking. Remember,
It's quitter talk. Yeah, it's loser talk.
Is to use the environment to trigger impulsive decision. When QSR Magazine asked a Coca-Cola executive what he recommends on how to sell more product, he had this to say. A way is to ensure that consumers don't do a lot of thinking. In other words, think.
Oh, this is also true too for retail sales. So one thing that happens with retail is something that's called choice paralysis, analysis paralysis. Like there's a lot of different terminology for it. And it's whenever you present the customer with like 50 different options. And I think one place that really does a great job at narrowing down those options is Apple. If you go to the Apple store, there's like 7 products there. So you don't really have to do a lot of thinking on which one you want to get and a lot of like analytical decision making. You just have to decide, do I want this one or the other one? Yeah, decision fatigue, right? And this is the case for a lot of things because obviously think about how much resources have been put into like the psychology of online purchasing. And like I know this for at least like selling merchandise is that sometimes it's better to only sell a few items because if you have 50 items in like a merchandise sale, people might not buy anything. But if you only have 6, then it's easier for them to look and weigh their options against each other. Because whenever you have 50 items, the person always has in the back of their mind, oh my God, maybe I'm buying the wrong thing. But if there's only 6 things, it's easier to make that decision.
So next time you see a dual lane drive-through, just know that space is triggering you further into their zone.
This is fake. There's one thing I would disagree with on this. This is fake. Nope, not true. The dual-wheel drive-thrus are way fucking better. They are. And I've been there so many times. I think that it's a huge fucking improvement. I've been to McDonald's over 1,000 times in my life. Like, as soon as they put that shit in there, like, if I want to go somewhere and get my food fast, I go to motherfucking McDonald's. Like, and it's that dual-wheel drive-thru. Like, that's a really, like, just changed the game. And I bet in 10 years, more places will have it.
So now that you're fully committed to your decision to be fast food, fast food places utilize a pre-order zone to pursue items. The strategy here is
to have it.
to listen to new and novel concepts. This is
Y'all ever see like a really old person pull up to one of those and be like, yeah, can I get
First off, novelty is just like convenience. It's another thing that we're new to buy is novelty bias. Novelty grabs our attention. Our brains love new novel items. So while you might ignore advertising for a mobile order you are much more likely to pay attention to a new item you've never seen.
like the bedroom whenever the bake neighbor came out?
July this past year, McDonald's released a McFlurry pretty well every other week. Right now we have the trick-or-treat McFlurry.
That's crazy. She had this example about it. The trick-or-treat one. Wait, should I go and get one of these? Maybe I should do. I should do more food reviews. I remember there was this girl talking to me about squishmallows, and I thought for the whole time that they were just like, I thought it was just like another word for boobs. It's the same as boba tea. I thought boba was just somebody stupid misspelling boba. I didn't learn there was a real thing for like a year.
Before that is Squishmallow McFlurry, the caramel popcorn McFlurry, the strawberry shortcake McFlurry, and
caramel popcorn? It sounds fucking disgusting. Ice cream?
Christmas Eve.
Wait. No, I want to know what these are.
In caramel popcorn McFlurry, strawberry shortcake McFlurry.
Oh no, see, like, you know, they're trying to go for that, you know, like those those like ice cream bars that you get, the popsicles from like the ice cream truck? Like they're trying to go for that, but it won't work because it's not distributed in the right way.
And a Christmassy candy cane fudge.
Oh, that one's
and
probably
of course,
really good.
novelty is another risk factor.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
On top of that, if you're already fast food and if it was you may be in a mood to quote unquote treat yourself, which according to
Treat yourself with diet. Slay queen, yep. That's what fat people do. I'm trying to think if there's ever been an instance in my life that I've
This social is one of the drivers so if you're also in the mood
what about I wanted to get a drink?
you may think, well, why not? Throw in a Christmas food or a pumpkin spice frosty or a double down hot dog or any of the other
A double down hot dog. They have that?
ad. It seems like these days, fast food companies are putting out really novel items all the time. And maybe
This is a good idea. I actually like that they do this because it creates more content for me. Like it's good for everybody because like every time they bring out a new item, there's like a lot of people who like make content online and like they're looking for these new items for new content. So like it's like a symbiotic relationship where like they get advertising for these new bullshit products without even needing to pay money for them just by the fact that they're novelties. It's actually a really smart decision.
technology thing, but I can't help but wonder if it's because it requires so much more behavioral science now, and they know that novelty is a powerful driver of our behavior. Another
Well,
thing
this is not a new thing, right? Like, and like she's probably around my age, so she probably remembers this too. Is like, I remember back in the, like, we're talking about like pre-9/11 days. I remember going to McDonald's with my mom after we saw on the news that the new rotation of Beanie Babies were in the Happy Meals at McDonald's. And we went there and we waited in line for our Happy Meal with Beanie Babies for like an hour. Because there were so many other people that were there too. Yeah, it's very normal.
that I think is a purely behavioral trick with the pre-order zone is the fact that at some fast food chains you can now no longer see the menu until you get right up in front of the menu. I don't know how many people do this. I personally don't have drive-thrus. I know probably drive-thrus. But I got coffee from a Tim Hortons about a month or so ago.
The fuck
Never
is that?
heard of Tim Hortons. It's the most popular coffee chain by far here in Canada. I personally hate it.
Oh,
I
it's
just find
Canada.
It's like the only one around in that time. For some strange reason, you cannot see their menu until you get right up in front of it. And that's when I discovered they're like anti-glare filled with whatever it was coffee. And I'm like, okay, another Tim Hortons fail. Why is it that Starbucks can make a sign that has no issues like this? Tim Hortons has to be the worst one of all time. But then a few weeks later, listening to this video, promoting McDonald's and ice cream cone, I noticed that they also have the glare or whatever film on top of it. You can't see the sign until you get in front of it. Now I expect something like this, but not these McDonald's. No, I'm a McDonald's hater, but even
I don't think this is... Because from that perspective, see, like, you're like, you're coming up, this is the thing. It's like, you're coming up like this, so you can see it before you get to the drive-thru. And if you're like, already placed for so, I don't know, like, I'm not sure, like, unless that there's, like, they stated this, it's true where I live. Let's be real, he needs to fucking name of McDonald's anyways. Well, I do. I don't know. I'm not convinced this is a psychological trick. Because I think they would also increase the amount of time that it would take for people to deliver, and it would probably make the service worse. And I don't think that they would take that risk. And so that's the reason why I'm not convinced, just by, you know, a couple of coincidences.
Respect what they do and respect their business to some degree, because they are truly masterful at what they do.
So like I go to McDonald's about 5 times a week. What the fuck?